Everybody, it's Jo here. I hope that wherever you are in this world that you're safe and well. We're all in this lockdown together and that it's not going to last forever. Okay, we're going to get through it. And in today's video we're going to talk about worrying and kind of maybe, learning to understand why we worry, how we worry, and hopefully with some ideas of just a couple of suggestions on what you can do to try and control your worry. What we think is what we feel. So it's for us to try and take control in what we're thinking. So with regards to worrying, I want you to imagine a backpack. So one of those proper backpacks, when people go travelling. When I was 19, I went travelling and I swear this backpack was bigger than me. You guys don't actually know how tall I am, do you? If I said that I'm 5'5", I'd be lying, put it that way. But this backpack, so you have to clip it up at the chest and then clip it up at the hip. So I want you to imagine you having your own backpack. And what I want you to do is I want you to imagine that you have worries that are represented by stones, pebbles, boulders, whatever it might be, and each worry weighs something, okay? Because what happens is that when we have a worry, we add that to our bag. And as you can imagine, for some people out there, certainly people that have those, impossible standards, such high standards in their life, whether on themselves or other people, then that's almost going to guarantee them worry and stress. So it's kind of just realizing that you have this weight. Now, the first thing that I need you to really understand is that you are not your worries. Your worries are not you. I think sometimes we become so used to having worries, stress, anxiety that it's as if it is us. It's not. It's not you. The hardest thing is learning to understand what is it that you're worrying about. So what I need you to do is I need you to literally sit there, get your backpack off and actually go through it. Visualize, verbalize what is each rock, stone, pebble, no matter how much it weighs, what is it? And try and be really specific. Oh, this one's about home life. Okay. Well, what is it about home life? Who is it about? And I think sometimes only then when we become more self-aware and we know what it is that we have as our worries, that we can actually do something about it. Because what you have to remember with a worry is that whilst it's going on, before we know it, we have the ability as human beings to actually then imagine what if. Now, before you know it, with the word what if, you've got a movie set up going on in there, that is literally picturing the what if. And our brains are so powerful that sometimes it can make our heart beat quick. We have physical reactions just to the thought of what if. So just realize that you are not your worries. Now, one book that I love, even though it's for primary school kids, and let's face it, us adults are just big kids, it's What to Do When You Worry Too Much. I'll add that in the comments below. And also another charity for you to consider researching is called Anxiety UK. They're brilliant. They've got a really good website as well. So, okay, let's go on to things that we can do to try and not tackle the worry, but to do something about it rather than it going over and over and chewing us up and having a bit of a pity party. What can we do to take control of it? So one of the best things to do is to visualize it in a sense of either writing it down or verbalizing it and saying it to a friend or a family member. Just doing that will allow you to acknowledge it, which can be really helpful. Another thing, if it's just you and you worry a lot more than you let people realize, with some of my kids we schedule in worry time. And worry time, it sounds really young, I know, but worry time is set times of the day, and it is literally specific times of the day. 5 minutes. You might have it 3 times a day. You might have it 2 times a day, whatever it might be. But eventually what will happen as the weeks go past, the months go past, is you want to cut them down. So then eventually it might be 1 a day or, whatever it might be. It's a specific time when you allow yourself to worry. So, for example, you know what it's like when you're doing some work or when you're with some friends and a worry comes in. and it's just going around and around in our heads. What I'm saying to you is to take it, but instead of stewing on it and analysing it and thinking about it, just acknowledge that, okay, I've got a worry. I'm going to worry about you later. So I'm not saying to you to ignore the worry, because that's what happens, is subconsciously it just goes around and around in our head. But I'm just getting you to acknowledge it and to set it for a later time. Because what can happen if not is that it will just play in the background. And just by you acknowledging it and putting it to the side can be helpful in a sense that at least you're not kind of dismissing it. And sometimes I can guarantee you that when it does come to your worry time, you'll actually have forgotten about that specific worry, which is good, because it just shows you that sometimes you have so many worries that come into your mind, and it's so time consuming and so soul destroying. Another thing is to use logic with those worries, to really be logical with it. We spoke about how to stop negative thinking and things like that. It's, just be logical with that worry. Realise that your chimp is going through with these worries, and just let your prefrontal cortex, let that wise owl remind you of being logical. Okay, I can see that that's a worry, but actually what's the likelihood of that happening? Or just be logical with it. I think another one sometimes is to almost allow yourself to visualize letting the worry go. So I always imagine it like a helium balloon and just letting it go. When you know it, you've got it, you've realized it, just realizing that it's not serving you any purpose, just let it go. Like the dandelion you've seen in one of my other videos. The dandelion comes in, the thought comes in, acknowledging it and just blowing it off, blowing it away. Because let's face it, you guys are going through so much right now with this lockdown. Times have changed over these last few weeks, and even though our bodies are rested, which is great, but actually our minds aren't. Our minds are just as busy. You guys are getting schoolwork, or for those that are going off to uni in September, just all the uncertainty with regards to dates, and you're still having to sort out your accommodation, whatever year you're in at uni as well. So just realise that sometimes what you need to bear in mind is that you're doing the best that you can do. And that's all you can do, is just do your best. And realise that, sometimes that is going to have to do. And you are going to have to trust yourself, knowing that everything that you are doing, you're doing to the best of your ability. So just be more aware of your backpack, more aware of the weight, because sometimes it might be really, really heavy. And just be aware that, be kind to yourself. They're testing times, and I'm not going to sit here thinking, I don't want you to think that I've nailed it and I know how to live my life. I still have those days too, but it's just taking control of them. Thank you. You take care of yourself.